Hi YouTube. People have been asking in my Twitch chat, how do you pull off the spooky action glitch in Zelda Link to the Past? So today, I'm hoping to demystify this glitch. Before we get into how to perform it, let's talk about how it works. So the glitch works because memory locations used by the duck, the fire rod, and some particle effects are really closely related. So when the duck moves around, it puts a location in memory, which is then used or overwritten by other things. So if you're using a particle effect while one is on the screen, it gets bumped to a second or even a third location. So if you just keep combining these effects, it kind of puts them in line for the fire rod to use the wrong memory location. So sounds complicated, but really it comes down to basically 2 or 3 things that you need to do. First is, when you flute to Misery Mire, you make sure you go to the bottom of the rock, pick it up, and get in the portal before you lose iframes. That means basically you go into the dark world, the frame that the duck is in the right location. And then when you get down into the first dark room, you have to use a particle effect like kicking up dust with the boots, or using the ice rod to have those sparkles on the screen. And there's also those fireball throwers, and I don't remember if those particle effects interact with, but it's best if you make sure that there's no fireballs on the screen when you do it. And so once you use the ice rod or the boots, drop a block, a Kinasamaria block, and if you miss the pressure plate, just push it around. Don't release it. Don't use the Y to break it into 4 parts, because at that point you will lose the duck's location. So once you get that into place, then you can use the fire rod to hit any sprite. So the spikes, you can also hit anti-fairies, and I've seen you can also use it on torches, but in the latest patch that hasn't been working for me. I might just be doing it wrong, but I've seen people do it. I haven't been able to do it. I don't know what's going on with it. It's still spooky to me. It still doesn't always work for me. So let's go over to Gaming Zone and let's try this out. I'm going to start from the mountain, just so I can get a full refill. This isn't necessary, but I will have to fight through Misery Mire. That's not all that difficult, but just making sure I have enough health. So bottom of this rock, and I enter and then throw the rock. So the rock's effect may also affect it, so just throw the rock after you start teleporting, and it just completely disappears. I've already opened Misery Mire. That doesn't actually have anything to do with it. You can definitely open Misery Mire and go into it and still have spooky action armed. Oops. Oh, if you use powder, it will overwrite the duck's location and you will lose spooky action. So you have to do this without powder. You can have it obviously in your inventory, you just can't use it. So now I'm just making my way to the dark room. Oops. Always make that mistake. I don't really need the extra magic over here, but it doesn't hurt anything, so I'm going to switch to Ice Rod because this is, I think, the easier way to do it. The other way requires a cane dash because they had to be that close together when you're using boots. This one gives you a lot more frames to do it on. So as you see, I did that, and there's no fireballs on the screen. and I'm switching before they get too far away from me. Switch to Canis Samaria, and when I dropped the Canis Samaria block, it was the particle effects from the ice rod were still on screen. And that's all you need to do to arm spooky action. So if I get out the fire rod, you should be able to hear the crystal switch switching when I hit this thing. And there it was. Let me do it again. Alright, and then the next thing you can do with it is in this room. These anti-fairies can trigger it as well, but they have to be touching these pegs. If they're too close to this wall, it won't hit the crystal switch above. And then this up here is the third area you can use it with. Right here. Yep, there it goes. So in all, I think this spooky action saves like 12 seconds. And I've already beaten the boss, so I'm just gonna pause here. It saves about 12 seconds overall, so it's not really that great of a time save, but it looks pretty cool. And if you're in a rush, any little bit helps. So I hope that this has answered some of the questions. I hope it's demystified the glitch. If you have any questions, comments, just leave it in the comments below, and I will do my best to keep up on them. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for watching.